wonderful Friday. So I know we didn't get to give you guys any updates last Friday. We were real busy and I had a little bit of time. I know I'm late, so some people might have already, tried to get on, but that's just the way it is. Sometimes I'm ready at noon, and other times I'm running behind. And today was one of those days. So, but I do want to give you some updates on what's been going on here at Imperial. So let's flip this screen around so you're not staring at me. I think I showed this 2 weeks ago. They had just arrived 2 weeks ago, but these are some amazing tanks that our good friend Mario built for us. These are 600-gallon acrylic tanks, and they are freaking amazing. So we're super excited about it. Canesto, hey, I saw your email too that you had ordered the fish and everything came in good, and I meant to reply back, and but the guys that answered the emails, probably Jim, had already answered, but I really appreciate the order, so, and the support you've given us for years, so it's just, I think it's amazing that we could know that our fish are going into people's tanks that are going to take such good care of them. So so I really do appreciate that, David. So we're going to be hopefully done plumbing this. We're putting the electrical in right now, so I'll tilt this down to show you. We've cut the concrete out, so all the plumbing for the incoming and outgoing water will be underneath the concrete when we go over it with flooring. So that means there won't be any outward piping or electrical. Everything will be nicely packed into coming up from the bottom of the stand, and then our piping will be all in here. So this will be for incoming water, outgoing water, and electrical. It's a process. We've had an extremely busy week. We were actually short a few people this week. We had a few people out with COVID. Another person was on a vacation and their flights got canceled, so they missed a couple extra days. So, I'm just glad that we got, through the week with everything with orders, and the crew did a great job working really hard to make sure all the orders got out and everything looked great. So I'm just showing you a couple orders. This was actually a wholesale order that was going to my friend Spencer Jack in Canada, and we had problems with the airlines, so we had to tank them, and we're still waiting for us, for the shipping to open back up where we could ship these guys out. But that was just a wholesale order. I just wanted to kind of point some of those guys out to you. The German strains that we've been breeding indoors are doing really, really well. The black orange lithobates are breeding very well. You can see a couple females there with mouthfuls of eggs. One thing that we are having problems with is this brown algae, and this is from the lights and a mixture of nutrients in the water that's making this stuff grow. So the girls have been working their butts off trying to keep them scrubbed back, and then the next week it's already back. So sometimes you see this even in the home aquariums. Typically cutting the food back and keeping the lights off will make it go away, but I actually came up with a treatment for, it's actually 35% peroxide, and this was my first rack that I tested it on, was here with the this is a wild shipment from Colombia that we brought in. Here's some rummy-nosed tetras. I've used the peroxide 35% grade before, and for actually experimenting with getting rid of a parasite called Tetrahymena, and so I had already done research that it's not harmful for fish, but it worked really good on this rack. There's absolutely no brown algae growing, and like I said, the fish the fish are looking really, really well. So we're going to do the same thing on the German rack. We Actually treated it with 5 mLs, and I'm hoping that this brown algae that's constantly growing in there. It's kind of hard for me, to cut back the feeding because of the densities that we keep in the tanks, and then also our water source is coming from a pond, all right, that has fresh water pumped into it. There's no fish in that pond, just fresh water. We use it as like a degassing of the water to, if you have well water, there's gases that get trapped in it. And so it's going to be hard for me to do the nutrient cut back, but I'm thinking with this peroxide 35%, it's going to kill the algae that's growing in there, the brown stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna get to some questions because I've seen a few people asking, and it's not going to be a long one today. I'm just going to kind of walk around and show you guys up. I guess I could show you the cover picture I used for the live feed today was one of the wild caught fish from Brazil, the bushy nose. It's the L59 orange spot, which is kind of new to me as far as I'm sorry, that wasn't the orange spot. This is the orange spot here. L59 Semironus right here. There's only a couple left. This is the L59s, but actually there you go. You can see some with the white tails. So this is the L59 Aguboensis ancistrius. Oh, I guess I got to get it in the screen. I couldn't see what I was doing. And there's still a couple more. I don't know if these are all being saved back for breeders because it looks like there's only 6 left. So I know these guys have been really popular because we've been sending out some packages of 6 and 8 of each. So I know people are going to be breeding these guys, and that's exciting because a lot of these wild caught fish are not being bred in captivity. And what we do tell a lot of people that they might not know, if you are breeding rare fish and you have babies, we do buy from a lot of the hobby that breeds rare fish. So kind of keep that in mind. If you want to expand your hobby and your fish keeping, then look at doing some, rare fish that have, value that you could either sell back to us, or you could sell back to a local store, or you could sell them to your friends or family, or give them away, or whatever, you want to do with them. But, I always, look at any kind of hobby that I have is, how can I make the hobby kind of support itself, so I'm not constantly having to invest more money and not ever see any of it come back to cover food costs or anything like that. So a lot of our friends and customers already do this, and like I said, I just want to let everybody else know that you get some rare fish going, look at how to breed them, and it makes kind of makes your hobby where not only is it paying for itself, but it might even put a little extra money for you to buy new stock. So this is the Cardinal Tetras that came in on that order from Colombia. Those guys are looking really good. The green Phantom Plecos, they're looking really good. We are still keeping the green and the blue on quarantine. They might have put some available today or whatever, but they have taken longer to get 100% healthy than we would like. They came in very skinny and emancipated, so we actually have wormed all these fish. We treated them with metronidazole for any internal parasites, and we also treated them for external parasites with cupramine. So they when we get done with them, they are going to be 100% clean. And it's not uncommon for wild caught fish to have parasites and bacteria issues. So that's just a normal thing in nature that these fish, if you went to your local lake and you caught, fish out of the lake, minnows or whatever, and you scraped them, took a fin clipping and looked at it under a microscope, even those fish have, parasites and stuff. on them. So, and in the wild, these fish can handle it because they're in such a large, healthy environment that it doesn't bring the fish down to where they die. But then you bring that fish from the wild and you go put it in an aquarium or a tank, then that's when the parasite is more vicious, you know, and that's when they really get aggressive. There's some L201s, those are still recovering too. I can see some fin rot still, so they're looking better though. I can see from the back they're getting healthy. So when we bring in wild caught, just know that we're a little bit different than most of your other people that sell wild caught fish. We get these guys like 100% cleaned up, and that's not saying that something that, you know, maybe the treatment did not reach, something still could happen, but it lessens the problems, you know, for our customers by us catching it on our end. Some wild red hump Geophagus didactyri. You can see some of the males starting to color up. Beautiful fish. We got lots of cardinals. We're, you know, I don't even know how many, something like probably 3,000 cardinals in stock right now. So Mike Bernard wanted to start offering some of those guys up to our wholesale customers. These Juraparis, they are still not 100% healthy, so those guys are still, you know, that kind of, you know, these are fish that are examples of us not pushing them out to the hobby because they're not ready yet, you know. So we'll sit on a fish either until it gets healthy or until we do everything that we can to get them healthy, you know. So but everything else is looking really good. I know Jacob is back today. He had been out all week with COVID, so today's his first day back. So hopefully the inventory today, you're going to see a lot of new fish coming up on the inventory on the website. Ruby Tetras, they got the black barb silver dollars, the arowanas, some more of the black barb. You can see that male right there, nice red on his cheek. That's what I'm talking about, RV. Tell them to hit that like button. We're working hard down here in Florida, so I'm gonna start at the beginning, and I'm gonna try to give you know, not get so far behind on the comments and the questions. So let me set this up in front of well, I'll put it on the, this is wild caught Ramirez, the Colombian ram. So I'm just going to leave it set up here just so you guys know. This is where the German blue ram was line bred from many years ago from someone in Germany. So, and they're not showing much color yet because they are not in breeding coloration, but these guys, in my opinion, when they're in full color, they look just as nice as the German blue rams. I mean, very, very nice looking fish. So I'll keep the camera here. Mauricio from Mexico, hello. Cat's on. What's up, Cat? Good seeing you, man. I hope the pool business is doing good for you. I know the winter is probably not as good of a time for putting in pools, but hopefully you're doing good. Jerry Collins from Iowa. Good to see you, Jerry. A flick of the wrist. Good afternoon. Links. My good friend Larry Johnson from Toronto. Larry, I felt bad. I thought of you actually yesterday afternoon when I got off work. I'm like, you know what? I asked Larry a question about a week ago, and he responded back like right away with the answer. It was identifying some Malawi barracudas, and he's like, hey, we got a trip planned for September to Lake Malawi. You know, if you're able to go, let me know. And I need to answer you back on that because that's something that's always been a dream of mine. And you know, the last couple of years, you know, because of COVID, we haven't been able to get together. So I'm gonna try everything I can to make it happen, Larry. So so sorry about, you know, after asking you a question, not responding back right away. I'm really bad, folks, with emails, and a lot of people message me through Facebook directly, and that's not a good thing neither because I don't hardly ever look at it. So and even people that have my cell number, I'm really bad about just anything electronic devices that I have to communicate with, or you know, kind of been overwhelming the last couple of years, you know. So I'll try to only, you know, deal with like the, you know, emails and stuff like that the best I can. Josh Cunningham, what's up? I got to see Josh the other weekend for Aquashella. He actually got to come by and check out the place. So good seeing you, Josh, and hope you're staying warm up there in Michigan. Darren's asking if we get any horse face loaches. No, I don't think that's a loach that we brought in before, but it very well could be one that we have access to. So if you want to email us and say, hey, I think this would be a good fish, for you to bring in, and I'm interested in some. And, I know the next time, most of the loaches we get, they come from overseas, over in Asia. So they breed, well, they don't breed clown loaches, but they have a lot of wild caught clown loaches. They got the yo-yos, the gold dojos. So, that's where most of the loaches come from. So, no, let's see. Man, there's a lot of questions already came in already. So, all right, so 80s Monster asked, says he has a 5 to 6 cents Placidochromos Johnsoni from Imperial out for delivery today. Can't wait to receive him. Awesome, that's a really nice fish. Now don't be surprised if the Johnsoni does not have a lot of color when he comes in, because we were actually pulling fry from the Johnsoni yesterday, and the males, even at like 4-inch, almost 5-inch, were showing good color, but they were not like popping with color, and we pulled a few fries. So that's a fish that I wouldn't be surprised when he comes in, unless it's coloration just from the stress of shipping. That just give him time, give him good food, good environment, make sure he's not getting bullied in a tank with fish that have been there for a while, established in the tank, and you're going to be real happy with that Johnsoni. That's a really nice fish. So, and from what I've seen, which I haven't seen them a lot in all male tanks and everything, the males are not like really jerks. They seem to be, a lot of your haps are that way. They're just, they're not like as aggressive as, of course, Mabunas and some of the peacocks like OBs and Dragon Bloods are kind of higher aggression, So hopefully, let us know how he does. I always like the feedback that comes back from our customers from email, because, like, it's nice for myself and Jim and Jacob to like get like not only when there's issues, but when they're happy with the order. Like, by all means, like, say, hey, Imperial, I just want to let you know everything came in good, and real happy and everything. Those kind of emails like kind of really lift us up and make us get through like some of the tougher ones when there is an issue. We need to know that too. Like, we want to know, like, hey, the fish came in rough, or hey, I noticed this off with the fish. And then what it does for us, it not only allows us to correct the issue for you and help you with it, but then it helps us go back to our stock and try to find out what went wrong. Was it something wrong on our end? Was it something wrong with the delivery? Was the box handled roughly? So, don't hesitate to shoot us an email, whether it's positive or something negative, and we could work it out. But and all the reviews that have been left on Google reviews, Facebook reviews, I hear people kind of whispering in the dark that secretly hate on us in the dark, because they don't have what we have, and they don't work as hard as we do. And I hear them say things like, oh, those reviews are fake, and they get I like real reviews. Well, we have no control over Google reviews, and I have no control over Facebook reviews. So if you see a positive, then that means that somebody was happy. If you see a negative, and there's a few, not many, that means that person, even though we bent over backwards to make it right, they still, were not happy. And usually we'll comment and, leave, response back without getting into a big argument with them. But, we do everything we can to make everything right. But, the positives like far outweigh the negatives. I mean, there's not even like, it's not even close. And, when my dad was here, that was one thing that he didn't know how to navigate the web very well, but he knew to go how to search Imperial tropicals on the web and he knew how to find our reviews, and he would literally spend hours in there reading reviews from people. And I mean, it just made him just beam with pride, that our fish were going into people's tanks, and they were so happy. They left a review, and some of those reviews are like, man, they're like letters, and they're like just on and on about how happy they are. And it's just makes us feel good. We live in a world of negativity, unfortunately. There's a lot of bad things going on in the world right now, and fish is the way that we escape a lot of that negativity. So I'm happy to be able to be providing quality fish to people that are really enjoying the peacefulness and learning about nature. So shout out to all the ones that have left a good review. And even if you didn't leave a good review, know that we tried everything we could to make it right with you. So that's the Walter eye here, and these males were showing a lot more color, but these were extra males from our breeding colony. So they're not like popping with color like they were when they were in that breeding group, but really nice fish right there. There's some excess males from our breeding group of yellow bengas, and some of these fish will be going up on the website next week. We're just kind of holding off because they just got moved into this room. So we're going to be, putting some of those up on the site. And, one thing I like to do in the future is I want to have like the people that are in our fish group get first access on some of these fish, right? I mean, so it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I just, maybe eventually I'll get caught up. And for example, like if we've been out of stock on something for many months and we've got some coming back in stock, we want the people that are in our fish group that are like big supporters of us. So I am going to try to wrap my head around a way to make that happen this year. So, because for example, a wild caught shipment coming in from Colombia, Brazil, or rare fish coming in from Germany, I would like, the people that have been in big support of us for a long time to get the first shot at those fish. So I just got to figure out, logistically and technology wise, how to make that happen, but that's something that I'd like to do in the future. I think it was 2 weeks ago I came here and showed you guys the bleaker eye, and they were all like, silver. And this is what they look like when they start, really liking their environment. And to me, it's just amazing to see these fish go from that, in 1 week to, jet black. But as you can see, that's more of a dominant, characteristic. So that's probably a male, and he's telling everybody else, hey, I'm gonna turn my colors on and you guys better turn yours off because I'll fight you, so let me get back to these comments. And this is the Doveye tank. This is some of the bigger Doveye. So I got rambling on. Dan Cote, hello from Friday. Hello, Miguel, Brian, what's up? David says that flametail is nice. Yeah, those ones breeding in that 40-gallon tank, it's so nice to be able to see them in a glass aquarium. Like my concrete vats in the greenhouses, you can't walk by the tank and see the male like that. So I really like seeing them in the tanks like that. Selena's asked, how much peroxide do you add per gallon? So for a 40-gallon tank, I added 5 mils of that 35% peroxide. So we have not did testing on tanks with snails or shrimp in it. So next week we're going to do like some testing on that. I'm feeling like it won't be any problem on those types, but we're going to do some like small testing to see how they react to it. But it might be something that the hobby could benefit from too, so. Trying to get back to where Ali Shan, hello. Canesto asked if we got any bumblebee catfish. We did not bring in any bumblebees on that last order. We actually had them ordered and they didn't send them. You know, that's the kind of the downside when you order from the, you know, South American guys, is that, you know, the inventory changes from the time we place the order to the time they ship it. It always changes, but we definitely are looking to get more of those bumblebees back in. So Thomas is asking, Medina is asking about albino hecli. No albino hecli right now, but we are going to be placing an order from my friend in Indonesia. He's got the tank raised L46 plecos, and he's got albino hecli. So, and this time I'm gonna try to get some bigger ones in that we could breed here at Imperial. I had to save some back, and we grew them up, you know, about 2 years ago, and we ended up having a malfunction in the tank that they were in, and they did not make it, which we were very sad about. But that's something we're gonna do again, is get some of those, because they're so popular. That's something we should breed here, so I don't have to wait, you know, every so often to bring some in from overseas, because it's not easy to bring in fish from overseas. The freight is very, very expensive, and it's a very long process. Like, it takes about a month for us to place an order and receive it. So if you run out of something, there's no like quick way of getting it here. That's why we like breeding so many fish in-house, is that we don't have to wait. Dan is asking, what's a good pleco for a 60-gallon tank with a Jack Dempsey? I mean, there's a lot of choices. Green Phantom, I mean, a lot of the, you know, even though, you know, the Green Terror, you know, does get big, typically they leave the plecos alone, you know. But there's a lot of them that I could think of, that the L200s, 128s, but you pretty much got the whole family of plecos to choose from for that. I mean, I wouldn't choose something that gets like, you know, bigger than 12 inches, you know. I try to stay in that, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 inch range for max, you know, size. So just, you know, I think the fish group would be another good, you know, group to ask, you know, like, hey, you know, which plecos do you guys like, and a setup with like a Green Terror, you know. But, you know, I need to repeat this very loud and clear. Do not buy wild-caught plecos from us and put them with Africans, all right? So, like, we had a few customers that ordered, and I'm like, and I know they only keep Africans, like, you know, peacocks and haps, and they're ordering, like, you know, I think it was L134 plecos, you know, the leopard frogs, and we took them off and said, hey, please do not put these with your Africans, all right? So you might find a few people out there in the fish world that say, no, it doesn't matter, you can put that stuff, but that is not true, all right? You're going to lose fish, and those wild-caught fish, I look at it like, I know how hard the fisherman that lives in the Amazon, that feeds his family by catching those fish, I know how hard he worked to go out there and catch those fish, keep them alive, take them all the way to Belém or Bogota or wherever they're shipping out of, keeping them healthy, getting them into that wholesaler's tank, that wholesaler getting them to us healthy, and then me, you know, getting them to recover from all that. So just think of it like, man, there was a whole lot of sweating and bug bites that went on, that whenever I buy wild-caught fish, I'm going to make sure that I do my research to make sure that I keep them in a proper setup for South American fish, you know. So and it just, you know, breaks my heart. I actually had a customer, it's been a few years ago, had L46s on their order, and they had a bunch of African cichlids, Mabunas at that, on their order. And I didn't know the customer, you know, history with tanks, because that was the first time purchasing. But, you know, we reached out to them and said, hey, are you putting the zebra plecos with Mabunas? And they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, whoa. I was like, please do not do that. So so please, you know, just do the research on the wild caught. Create a tank for them. Don't mix them with fish from different continents, you know. There's a few that are exceptions, like the bleaker eye, you know, it's actually an African cichlid that comes from Madagascar. So there's not a lot of options for tank mates for those guys, you know, but I see them, people have success keeping on with Central Americans and South American cichlids that are compatible. So there is a few overlapping things that you can overlap on, but you know, just try to keep it, you know, as natural to what those fish environments are as we can. So so that was it. I just wanted to stress that, and I'm actually going to probably, you know, do up a you know, writing where, you know, we could just make sure that when people do order those fish, they are not like, you know, experimenting with them and putting them in harm's way by putting them in with fish that are not compatible. I'm gonna keep it on the millenniums, and I'm gonna try to get through some more of these questions. Mazzy Pop says, just got my shipment in today of electric blue car, Colombian Tetras, and Severin. He said, I thought you guys quarantined for at least a day. My fish were shipped yesterday and I made the order Wednesday. So the quarantine process, we will ship out. Like, for example, if this tank of Millennium Rainbows, which they've already been fed today, I know that. If you are ordering, and you know, we're going to try to get your order out as quick as possible, but they're in quarantine. We're monitoring them. We're not giving them food right before they ship out. So that's kind of how the quarantine process works out. So if you, for example, somebody ordered this morning, like first thing, and they asked for Saturday delivery, if possible. And because we got that order in before the fish were fed and everything, we were able to get that guy's order out today. Now that doesn't always happen. Like if he would have ordered fish that had already been fed for the day, then they would not have been shipped out, because as soon as we, you know, bag them up and ship them, they're going to poop and pee in the bag, and then the water quality gets bad. So yeah, don't be surprised especially if we're trying to stay caught up like we were this week because we were short-handed. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, Jim's senior order come in and like, hey, we're going to go ahead and get that order out today, because I know all those fish already have, you know, ones going out of those tanks out today. They're in the quarantine area. So yeah, so that's kind of how it works, Max. So, but no problem. That's a good question, because you know, a lot of people, you know, wonder what, you know, that process is, and that's kind of how it works, you know, like but don't order same day and always expect to happen like what I did for the guy today on the Saturday, because that usually will not happen. Usually we need at least 24 hours notice, you know. So all right, I'm gonna try to get through these questions. Man, you guys are liking it, I guess. If you got questions, I like it though. So that, man, if I just had to, like, you know, ramble on and find things to say, it would be kind of frustrating. Let me get set up on another tank, and I'll go through. Here's the Balzani, Gymnogeophagus. All right. Next, Ali Sean. I've seen this comment earlier, and this is good news. She said it looks like the odious amendment to the Lacey Act was removed from the Senate version of the American Completes Act. Now they will have to negotiate with the House. So that is good news, but it's still, you know, something that we're going to have to be very proactive on. I've been multiple times a week on conference calls with people within the pet industry, and you know, we're all like coming together to find out the best way to approach this and to make sure it doesn't happen again. And I'm on a board with Fish and Wildlife in Florida, and we've met twice over the last 6 months about, you know, doing things to improve, you know, to make sure that no fish escape people's tanks and get established in the wild. And, you know, I've, you know, been able to express our feelings with Fish and Wildlife, like that's the worst thing that can happen. Like, we don't want that to happen, and we will do whatever we can to make sure that doesn't happen. And You know, we're going to, you know, at some point, the industry is going to work on a campaign. I mean, you would think everybody would know, hey, you know, your fish gets too big for your tank, do not, you know, go release it into a lake or a river. But unfortunately, there's some people out there that they just are not very, you know, I don't want to be mean, but they're just not, you know, that smart, okay? And because that is a very reckless thing to do. And so we're going to work on that. And then I also told him that, look, you know, there's been times that we started breeding a fish here at our facility, and we quickly realized that, hey, this fish is not a good fish for us to breed because it is very, very, you know, a couple things determine that for us. It's very prolific to the point that if it does get out, that it might compete with natural, you know, fish. Like, for example, the marble crayfish, the self-cloning one, that was one that I started breeding, you know, probably 10 years ago. And after about a few weeks of breeding them, I said, wow, these are just crazy because they don't need a mate to breed. They're self-cloning. They're not very colorful, and they breed like rabbits. I had never seen a crayfish that was that prolific. So I contacted Florida Fish and Wildlife, told them my concerns, and talked to the, you know, department that handles these things. And that was 10 years ago. Nothing ever happened. All right, and if you look up marble crayfish online right now as invasive crayfish, you will see that they are having, you know, outbreaks of these crayfish in Europe, Australia, I think even in Asia there was outbreaks reported of them. So it's our responsibility as a breeder not to breed those fish and provide them to the hobby. Just like you guys might notice, we don't sell red-tailed catfish, we don't sell pacu, because these, you know, fish are the #1 fish that outgrow people's tanks. Not saying that some people aren't responsible enough to keep them by having a proper requirement, but if you add up how many red-tailed catfish are sold in a week, I mean, I'm just going to throw a low number, let's say 100 of them, I would guarantee you 90% of those red-tailed cats sold are going into tanks that are not acceptable size. So we make it as a company policy not to sell those fish, but they're still available. You can Google it right now, probably find some online for sale. But, you know, we would, my personal opinion is that Fish and Wildlife needs to regulate, you know, fish of concern. We already have a red list. We need more items on that list that, you know, especially cold water fish. You know, luckily most of the tropicals come from tropical climates, so they're not going to live outside of South Florida, right? So even here in Central Florida, we have very few invasives up here in Central Florida. And then the further you go north, the fewer invasive tropicals are. So, but the cold water fish really scare me because there's a, you know, demand for some people to get these big, rare cold water fish, and those are the ones that are going to get out and go all across the Midwest and just be a nightmare. So please, you know, be responsible, and we're going to be trying to help, you know, educate people on our end, and also educate Fish and Wildlife on which fish we feel are, you know, either need to be limited or controlled in a way that, hey, if you buy red-tailed catfish, you might have to register that fish on your local, state, or federal Fish and Wildlife, you know, that they know that you got that fish, right? Or, you know, even if it's a questionnaire saying, hey, you know, what size tank you have. I mean, are you sure you're responsible to keep a 4-foot catfish? You know, there's a lot to it. So, but yeah. So I'm glad that that amendment is at least getting pushed off, you know, so. All right. All right. All right. Lynn's on. What's up, Lynn? Oh, she's just a wonderful person. Lynn, every time I see you post, you always put a smile on my face. You're just so nice to everybody, and so thank you for all the support you give our Facebook group and everybody around you. So thank you. All right. So trying to get. All right. They're also saying make sure we hit that like button. You got to disable comments. YouTube's like, you know, you would think that would be a fix they would have done a long time ago. Facebook has it. So Thomas Bedina, Miguel says that there's somebody picked some up from Worldwide Fish and Pets. I don't know who they are, but so yeah, there's other people that carry them, and I have no problem, you know, with people on this format. Don't go in our group and be like, you know, because I got a lot of sellers that slip into the group and they try to, you know, try to promote their fish, but there's other people that have them, and you know, just make sure they take good care of you. So Kat says the pool business has been crazy, not so much in winter, but we're ramping back up, and said COVID has them busier than ever. So, well, that's good, because more people are staying at home. They're probably going ahead and deciding to put that pool in, you know. 84 MOS says Northern Illinois getting his tubs ready for summer tubing. Hey, I have a lot of friends that do that in the north, that where they might only have 3 months, but they set up some outside tubs, and it's amazing how much nicer the fish do when you have them in that outdoor environment. Hector said he made it to the live. Nice. Jonathan is asking any male Malawi trouts. Not at this time. Everything is not sexable that we're growing up, but we do have some that the next time we bring them in from the grow out pond, I'm hoping to have some males. The problem with these predator haps is that, I mean, even when they're like 4 and 5 inches, they are not showing much characteristic, and you try to vent, you know, the females and the males, and it's very hard to vent females that have never had babies, because their vent holes are very small, and with my vision, I'm not going to guarantee you know, sexing a female that is basically a virgin, because I can't see the difference with my eyesight, you know. So, but that's just the problem with the predator haps in general, because they get big, and you know, if they're in a breeding group at 4 and 5 inches, they'll start showing some color. But when I have a selling group of, say, like 100 of them, you know, then it makes it very hard for me to sex those guys accurately, you know. So, but I do know we got some coming in. If we are able to sex them, we're for sure going to be offering some males up, you know. So Allison said, thanks again for the amazing haps and peacocks. Imperial is killing it. I appreciate that, Allison. I know that, you know, you were not an African cichlid keeper. You kept all other types, but that you, after seeing all the beautiful tanks, you decided to set one up. So I'm happy that not only you set one up, but you're enjoying it, because the colors are spectacular. I mean, you look at these bicolor males right here. These are some of the ones we brought in from Germany, and you know, they're not even full color yet, but look at them. I mean, there's amazing fish. Thumbi West OB, we did bring over a batch of Thumbi that should be going up on the website. So make sure that you are signed up for the email notifications. So when those guys do get put back up on the website, you'll actually be notified of the listing. And, you know, I could just suggest that, you know, if that's the fish that you're really wanting, they don't stay in stock for very long, because we have limited numbers of them. But I would not wait around to order it once you get that email notification, because you know, fish are not like you know, manufactured in a way that, you know, other things are, where we could just like cookie cutters, and you know, there's a lot of, you know, times that the breeding stops or slows down, or the source that we were getting them from, you know. So, you know, it's hard to keep everything in stock all the time. So, but the Thumbi we do breed in-house, so I'm hoping that those guys will be up on the site really soon. So, the L24s, I don't know if those are still available. I know we just sold some. The 25s are here. So here's the L25. Oh, yeah, we got, Yep, we got a couple left. It looks like 3 of them, and this tank, the lights aren't working on it, so I'm going to have to like get them to come out for a picture. There we go. So there's one of the 24s, and that's a Pseudocanthus species that it's not the L25 colors on them, but they're still a very nice fish. And it looks like we have 3 of them left. So, and I know they're difficult to see, but here's the 25s below them, and you can see those guys. There's 2 of them left on the L25s. So there's the L24s. There's the L66s. There's a couple of those guys left. Mario's on. I brought your name up earlier, Mario. I was giving him updates, telling him I was working on the plumbing, so glad to have you on, Mario. Mario is the tank builder that built the tank for us, so if you guys are looking for big acrylic tanks, Mario is your man. So I'm very happy. I've known Mario a long time, and I'm very happy with the tanks he built. All right, Dan Coate is asking if we announced the winners of the 6,000 giveaway, member giveaway for the Facebook group. And I'm sorry, Dan, that wasn't like clear, but that video that we posted on YouTube, and we actually should have posted it on the group too. That was my mistake. I know there was some talk about it, but what a crazy week that was. I was actually out of town with my wife for our anniversary, and when that video went up, and then so I didn't do a great job promoting it, but basically and it's still going on. So basically everybody that's in the group is a winner. It's a $10 promo code that everybody, there's 600 of them available, which equals 6,000. And so until those $600 $10 promo codes are gone, it's for you guys to use. So I'll post something up in the group about it. I know I'm really, really bad about posting, but I will try to make a note to do that, because basically everybody that orders, if you're hearing it from here, I mean, we're not putting it on the front of the website because it was a Imperial Tropicals Facebook group, giveaway to show our appreciation. We're basically giving everybody $10 off of their order. So shipping is like $34 now for shipping, so it means that if you use that $10 promo code, you get the shipping for $25, overnight shipping. And our cost for that $25 overnight package is more like $50 for overnight, because overnight shipping is very expensive. So so that's what it is. Go to that video on YouTube that announces it, and you could see the promo code there. I don't even remember what the promo code number was, but it was something along the lines of IMP 6000 or something like that. So so sorry about that. And also we had a scammer get on that video post. So that morning it had like 60 comments on the post of people like, congratulations, and just all these things, great things that people were saying. Well, we had a scammer go on there and post a comment, and they were using our logo, but their name of their YouTube handle was like a couple letters, and then it was a cell number. And they went and commented on like 60 people's posts saying, congratulations, you are the winner. To receive your prize, text or call the number above in the name. And like, I don't know, I'm fairly computer savvy. My first instinct of seeing something like that is that it's a scammer, right? But there's actually a few people that reached out to them to get their prizes, and they were told that they needed to give them a credit card, and they didn't. As far as I know, nobody got scammed. We were able to block that person, report them. But if it's not coming like directly from our YouTube channel, like with our name and our email and everything, and we would never ask somebody to give them their credit card number, because we don't save anybody's payment info. Even if people say, hey, I want to pay over the phone, can I give you your card? We're like, nope, we don't want to ever know what your card number is. we don't want to be liable for that. We have like, you know, a third-party payment provider that we will send you an invoice and you could put your card in that third-party provider. So so that whole thing was like just kind of crazy, you know. So it's sad that people are scamming like that. That's just kind of tells you the way the world is, you know. So all right, so I'm gonna try to get the rest of these answered. Oh yeah, I see Hector just commented on it too. Yeah, that, I don't know what happened to the guy. I reported him. I actually called the number that they had, and I looked up the number. It was number, I think it was Oakland, California, and the guy the person on the other end never spoke to me, but I could hear them, and it sounded like they were in a call center. And this was at like 7 a.m. Florida time, so that tells me it was 4 a.m. in California time. And I can hear other people in the background calling people. So these scammers are so, you know, prevalent that they have like a call center for them. And, you know, but the guy never answered the phone. I reported him, but unfortunately there's no, you know, nobody that goes after these scammers. You know, they just keep operating, which is very disappointing. It should be as simple as me calling the local sheriff there in that area code and saying, hey, this person just tried to scam a bunch of people, here's the proof, and go arrest him. But they, for some reason, that's not possible. So yeah, I just seen the comment pop on the bot. Jose, so go watch the video on YouTube. You'll get the promo code to get the $10 off, and that, you know, would be $10 off. That would take it off your order, which means that if shipping is $35, you know, for your order, it would be $25. Now, if you order, you know, less than the required amount to get the $35 shipping, then the next tier is like $39. All right. So, and on our website, we've got that, you know, shipping and handling questions and all that stuff is on there also. But that promo code is on YouTube. If you join our Facebook group on Imperial Tropicals Fish Keepers, I'm sure one of those people will also share that that code with you, you know. So, all right, I'm gonna try to blow through these. All right, Cat says he still has his gar that I bought, what, 4 or 5 years ago. He's a stud. Might do a species tank of them one day when all my fish live out their lives. Yes, no, they are beautiful fish. I really like them. And we're going to work this year on getting more production on them because they're such a beautiful fish. So Jonathan says he's had 6+ orders and they all came in great shape, only one casualty. Hopefully we made it right. All you got to do is communicate with us. So I know you ordered 6 times and only 1 fish, but I don't even like that. So if you know, ever have a problem, don't hesitate to reach out and we'll make it right with you. So Dice P5 is asking for blue acara and cichlid magano. I'd like to see birchers, please. All right, so don't put the magano with the blue acara, and don't put the bircher with the magano neither. So make sure you're keeping those fish in the right tank. Birchers are here. Let me find the birchers. The shears. Actually, they were in this tank and they moved them, so yeah, I don't know where they're at, so won't be able to show those to you. The electric blue acaras I already showed if you were asking about the electric blue, or if you're just asking about the regular true blue acara. We do carry those. I don't see them behind me, but we usually have the regular wild type. Yeah, right here. This is what the regular blue acara looks like. So this is more of what they look like in nature. And then this is the line bred version, hybrid version. Nobody really knows, but that's the electric blue. And then Maganos, Well, there's one right there in that tank. You can see him in the back. They're blue with the straight lines. Right here's some. Actually, that's the masonite right there. So they might have some down in the greenhouse because I don't see any more Maganos. Just that one that was in that mixed tank. Most of this is going to be peacocks and haps over here. So yeah. And all the pictures on the site, are going to be a good representation of what you're going to receive. So just make sure. I know you asked about 3 different fish. Don't mix the Mabunas with South American. Okay, so you'll be a lot better off. So. All right, Canesto Dave Pat said he got one of the trios of boops. They're doing very well. Yes, the boops are, I was glad to finally get some more of those in. We are getting a few babies from our breeders, but I was able to get some from my friend down south. And, I'm glad we're able to sex them because, man, I'll show you the boops that we have left. There's only one of them that's like black, and a lot of times you could tell, there's one male that's already like stressed, but, it's crazy that that fish right there that's just kind of silver will be so beautiful whenever it gets into its breeding coloration. So we are going to be expanding a lot of Tanganyikans this year, so we're setting up a lot of new breeders and working on getting a lot more of them. So all right, so all right. Any peacock bass? We have a few from the Brazil shipment that will hopefully be ready this week. So let me tell you which ones they are. And we will post on the website and Facebook notification that these guys are back in stock. They were really small and emancipated when they came in. In fact, we had to really kind of baby them back up. But that's the golden Koberry peacock cichlid, and they might even be letting them get a little bit of size on them because we don't like shipping them that small. The wholesalers shouldn't have shipped them to us that small, so we've been trying to fatten those guys up and grow them up. So it might be a little while. So next one. Shannon's asking what size were those Starry Nights. That one that the male was like really popping was like the 3 to 4 inch size. Angel, I appreciate that, man. I hope you're doing good up in PA. Angel Sierra, just so you guys, Angel used to be our propane delivery guy. All right, so back in the day, he delivers propane, and he always would man, I really love fish. I never kept a tank, and I showed him how to properly keep fish and how to set them up, gave him some fish, and now Angel is a member of the Aquarium Society up in, I think it's PA, and he's got tanks all over his house, so that's awesome. So, yeah, I appreciate that comment about my dad too, Angel. Dave Pat said, I've ordered probably 25 times from IT in the last 3 years. Does that count as faithful? Absolutely, David. So I can't, tell you just how much it means that, not only are, getting new customers, but the fact that people have bought from us for years and I love it. It's just, it's been awesome. So thank you so much. Any L519, Greg Van Fleet's asking. I'm actually not familiar with that L number. So email me so I don't forget the research, but I know they've been reclassifying a lot of L numbers, but that one is not familiar with me just off the top of my head. Most of the time, L numbers stick in my head, but for that one, I'm not able to give you an answer on the 519s. But like I said, they reclassified a bunch of stuff, added a bunch of numbers, so it could be one of those new ones, So, Harvey, the peroxide was to kill that brown diatoad algae that, people see it in their tanks from having the lights on or overfeeding. But because we do have a pretty high density of fish and our pond source is water, and our light spectrum is probably not ideal for, it's probably ideal for growing this stuff, but we're using the peroxide to try to break the cycle of it, because every week the girls are wiping down the tanks, and then within a week later that's already growing back. So let me say, Marshall says, yeah, my beard, I don't know, I've had a beard so long I don't even know what I look like without it. So yes, I'm gonna bring in some more Tanzanians here soon. So Gabriel's asking about yellow firemouth. We got some babies growing up in the pond. Those guys should also be coming in pretty soon. So nice. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but EUES, Use, says he's from Portugal, and he said he loves watching the video feeds, and he can tell us that we're very, very passionate. Appreciate it. And one day I hope to be going to Portugal, because I want to go and to travel Europe and meet a lot of the fish breeders. So one day you'll see me in your part of the world. So Canesto's asking those big blue tubs. This is for our soft water systems, like for the Brazil fish, for the Colombian wild caught. This is an area that we pump over water to condition for the pH and the hardness. And then right now it's degassing. It just got filled up. We actually are using acid to lower the pH, phosphoric acid. And then tomorrow we're going to, check the parameters, everything's right. We turn a couple valves, and instead of it recircling back through the tubs, it'll be pumping into each one of these tanks, so each one will have water pumping into each tank through that little line. So that's just a soft water system that we can manipulate the water. We're actually going to have that as the same water source for these tanks. So we can mix up batches of water treated for whatever we want it to be, and then pump it to whichever tank that we want it pumped to, with just controlling the valves. So so that's what the blue tubs are. So folks, sorry, I got to wrap it up. I know there was a few other questions that I didn't get to. So just, next Friday, try to get on. And actually, I'm not going to be here next Friday. My son has a fishing tournament up on Lake Seminole. So we're going to be probably leaving Friday and going up and doing a fishing tournament for his high school bass fishing. So I'll be on the water all day Friday. So no fun Friday or show next Friday. Make sure you still have fun though. So everyone, thank you so much for the support, and have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll catch you at the next Fun Friday. So thank you.